Hi, I'm Ryan. This is my first T7 and this is my first ECU. Now the ECU on this bike is located right here under this side panel, and it's not very well protected in my opinion. I took a low speed drop in my front yard playing in the grass, and the bike came down on top of me, and I put enough pressure on this panel to actually crush the ECU between my leg and the subframe tube that runs up behind the ECU. Now if you look at this, bring it in close here, so it's actually split in half. So the tube runs diagonally, and I folded it and split the ECU. After a week of self-diagnosis, I couldn't figure out the problem. So I took it into a Yamaha dealership. After 3 days, they couldn't figure out the problem. Yamaha did not want to believe that the ECU could be faulty. So they just totally disregarded it. After 3 days and a whole bunch of back and forth, they finally decided to try the ECU, and that's when they realized that it was broken. So, because it was deemed my fault, I actually couldn't get a warranty for this ECU. This is $990 Canadian before taxes, and there was none in North America at the time. I had to wait a month for this thing to get here. I call it hubris on Yamaha's part to not have something so crucial. One, better protected, but two, available for necessary replacements, because this stuff happens. But because they don't really take those precautions, I've decided to take my own, and I plan on sharing mine. Firstly, remember, this is unprotected essentially under this body panel. I have created this heavy-duty steel ECU armor. Now this actually goes under this panel and over top of the ECU in its stock location, and is secured in place on this rubber grommet over top of the standoff on the subframe for this tie-down point. Now this is beautiful because it requires no modifications, no bolts, nothing. It actually gets all of its protective strength from that same subframe tube that literally snapped this in half. So that's option number one. It's warranty safe. It's a small weight addition, but it's bomb-proof. I mean, I tested this thing for months, and I've beat the crap out of this on a workbench even. Awesome. Now, option number two, my personal favorite, may or may not void warranty for the ECU itself, but will definitely raise questions. So, not for the faint at heart, but for those who want the ultimate protection, it's definitely the better choice. Come on in here. So, underneath the seat in the factory battery box, I've now removed the large battery, and I've made a bracket that houses a small lithium battery and the ECU. It's incredibly well protected, and it's actually a weight savings in the long run because of the small lithium battery. And the bracket is all aluminum. It's safe, it's secure, it saves weight, and quite honestly, this would be the way I would go if I had to choose. Okay, I just want to end this video with a quick point about the ECU and the warranty and dealing with Yamaha. And the most important thing I want to make very clear here is I agree with Yamaha that my ECU breaking was my fault. I agree that they chose not to cover it under warranty. Again, I dropped the bike. It was my fault, 100%. My gripe is the fact that I had to wait a month for a part that is so crucial to keeping the bike running. Those parts should be in stock in North America. They should be readily available. Now, I get it. COVID, chip shortages, all those things come into play. There's huge factors there. But let's be real. Like, they could do better. Now, as you can see, my Tenere does not look like every other Tenere. I got a heap of custom parts on here, and we didn't do anything to document the build. But I'm going to do probably a couple videos just showing off the parts that I've made, because I plan on putting them up for sale, and then we'll get into more bikes and do more stuff. So, keep an eye out.